Hello and welcome to All Villa No Filler, a podcast all about Aston Villa, the world's greatest football team. Villa blunted the Blades 5-0 at Bramall Lane on Saturday. More on that in a sec. And we also have a tongue-tingling, spicy question on the way for you too. But first things first, Frankie, you were in Sheffield. How was your trip?
I tell you what, mate, I had a great bloody time of it. Oh my goodness. That was fun. That was very, very fun. Kind of tragic comic in a
Yeah.
way, the game. But no, I went with one of my best mates in the world. He's been on the podcast before. Christian, he's a lifelong Sheffield United fan. So anytime Sheffield United played Villa, we both try and go to it because I also went to Sheffield Uni, as did he, which is where we first met each other. Um, and so yeah, it's just become a bit of a thing. I think Sheffield United, Bramall Lane's probably the ground I've been to second most in the country behind Villa Park, just because I used to go there a lot during uni. Uh, anyway, so yeah, it was went up to Bakewell. That was lovely. Got a nice Bakewell tart.
Lovely.
And then went up to Mantor, climbed that. Felt like I was climbing a mountain. The wind blew harshly at the top. The clouds closed in, but nothing could prepare me for the. I thought I climbed to a high peak, but the heights that Aston Villa reached later that day were so beyond what I could have dreamt, George. My goodness. 5-0. Now, I don't know if I'm supposed to admit this, but I was sat in amongst the home fans.
Yeah.
So I had to behave myself, not let things fall into disrepute like Wolves and West Brom fans did a few weeks ago. It was very hard to keep myself contained when Villa were up about 4-0. The
Mm.
funniest thing, it was like when it went 2-0, the amount of fans who walked out the ground was just I've never seen anything like it. I mean, Villa, like have 10 minutes maybe. Um,
I mean, you say you've never seen anything like it. You've never seen anything like it, sort of in that context. I mean,
yeah,
I've seen plenty of Villa games with
yeah.
people walking out.
Yeah, I mean, I think like that early in the game, like it was like, wow, okay. And then when the third
Mm.
went in again, quite early on, it was like, bloody hell, this is unbelievable.
Mm.
And yeah, it just felt like every time Villa attacked, there was going to be a goal, didn't there? And it was just my God. I mean, when the third goal went in, it's the first time I've ever heard 30,000 people collectively go bastard. Like Sean Bean, big
And
Sheffield
sharp.
United fan, sharp, bastard, his favourite goal. So yeah, 30,000 people in my ears, bastard. And they're just walking out, and yeah, it was just like, I mean, Sheffield United were really poor,
Mm.
real danger of that Derby record. I
Which
know
is
the
which is
points
which
now.
is interesting, given that it was only a couple of weeks ago when they were giving us a really difficult time of things at Villa Park and came
Yeah,
so close to getting, all 3 points.
yeah,
It seemed like a very strange change of tack from Chris Wilder. They
yeah.
just looked so exposed and open, which is something they absolutely weren't in Birmingham.
Yeah, completely. Like they kind of tried to go at Villa a bit. Like their formation was weird, and like my Sheffield United friend, he was saying he didn't really understand what they were trying to play. It was almost like a five at the back or a three, whatever it was. It was like they started off by trying to knock it over the top to Brereton Diaz, who did have a
Mm.
chance, and looked quite handy in the first 10 minutes. But it was just that every time Villa got some of the ball in the centre, there was always a ball onto Ollie Watkins,
Yeah.
which would always run in behind Holgate or whoever it was. Every single goal came down the centre. It was just extraordinary. So it was like hot knife through butter, basically. And yeah, I mean, Villa. If you give Villa space, you give us a chance to go at you. We'll score most likely. We'll create, and it felt like Sheffield tried to go at Villa, like kind of the opposite of what they did at Villa Park, and paid the price. Like Villa ripped them apart, and some of the selections were weird. I think not having Hamer and Archer on from the start seemed odd. There was another Sheffield United player that came off the bench as well that I was a bit like, why did he not start? Just everything that Chris Wilder did yesterday just didn't work. Uh, you know, uh, Also, Chris Wilder, does he look like the kind of man that in the year 1540 would have been employed as an executioner?
Yeah, yeah. Sort of black hood, maybe sort of
Yeah,
leather vest, big sort of honking great axe or maybe even a sword,
yeah.
dispatching people right, left, and center. Yeah, I can see that.
The King's
Yeah, I can see that.
henchman. The King's
The King,
henchman.
the King's henchman. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
definitely.
Amber Lynn's walking to her final day, her final
Mm,
moment, head on the chopping block. and the last face she sees is Chris Wilder going mad at someone for eating a sandwich. You bastard! What sandwich is that? Chops her head off.
No, I can see that. I can definitely see that. He looked a little bit lost on the sidelines. I think he wished he probably had some sort of weapon of warfare at his disposal to use on some of his players.
Yeah.
Yeah, they looked sort of shell shocked really after 20 minutes.
I was shell shocked.
Well, so was I. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was incredible. But it was just some incredible performances from individuals as well. Dougie Luiz, the maestro, the Leonard Bernstein of Aston Villa's midfield.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable, particularly given the fact that he said he was like really sick before playing. That's why he only played the half the game. He came off for Aaron Ramsey in the second half because he wasn't feeling very well. But I mean, if that's what he can do when he's not feeling very well, then God, if he's better for the FA Cup replay against Chelsea at midweek, Chelsea are in a world of pain, particularly after their result today.
Yeah.
So he was just brilliant. That ball to Watkins for his goal, the second that we scored, was just chef's kiss, Frankie. It was absolutely sublime. I cannot remember a better assist from anyone. Can you think of a better assist?
This season
from an Aston Villa player, it was Kevin De Bruyne-esque, wasn't it?
It was De Bruyne. Do you know, I was going to say, if I was to think of an assist this season that compares to it, I'd say De Bruyne's ball to Oscar Bob against Newcastle.
Yeah.
But that's exactly it. Kevin De Bruyne. It was that sort of a pass, and
something about an outside of the boot pass.
Yeah,
cutting through four players.
Yeah,
there was a lovely angle I saw on the Villa Twitter page where it was behind him, and you just see these Sheffield United players looking back in panic as they realise that this ball is like cutting right through them.
Like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park. The T-Rex is a bit closer than it appears. Or the rolling ball in Indiana Jones.
It was glorious. It was so good.
But Watkins was amazing as well. His runs were brilliant.
He was brilliant. I mean, it was just like shooting fish in a barrel for him, wasn't it? It was exactly the sort of game that Ollie Watkins likes to play. Just very like on the front foot, reading the balls that were coming his way. Getting on the end of everything. Running the channels if need be. His assist for Moreno's goal, our fifth, was a wonderful little chip over to Moreno, and great awareness, knowing that Moreno was going to be there. Awful defending from Sheffield United, literally to leave Moreno there on his own in the box for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So he had all the time in the world to side foot that volley into the back of the net. That was a great goal. Leon Bailey's fantastic finish, and just his goal was incredible because he had about 5 or 6 Villa players who were all around him. I mean, we overloaded Sheffield United in their own box. It was absolutely unbelievable. Tielemans' strike, he was unlucky, obviously, not to score just before. It was a great clearance off the line from what was a lovely strike. But then, he got the second crack of the whip, didn't he, to score that goal. A lovely sort of off the bar, off the post, back of the net job.
Yeah.
One of those little Gareth Bale celebrations. And it was just everything that could go right went right for us,
and everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Yes, conversely, yes,
they were really poor, poor.
And it was almost like no matter what they did, Wilder made some changes, personnel wise. He clearly, once we went 3-0 up, dropped back as a sort of crisis management move that didn't really work so well. And obviously they had that disallowed goal right at the end, which really summed up their entire evening.
It was like a tragicomic like play. Like some of the fans that around me went really like happy and were cheering when Sheffield scored. Nice consolation. Show there's some fight in them. And then when the VAR check came up on the screen, I openly started laughing. And I was like, this cannot get any worse. Because obviously I'm there with a mate, and I'm like, I kind of like, this is probably the first time I've ever sort of deep down kind of wanted a goal to count against Villa just for something else.
Yeah, I was desperate for that clean sheet. I was like, oh no.
But then I saw Emi Martinez's reaction when the goal went in, and he was kicking the post as hard as he could. And I was like,
Yeah.
no, get this goal disallowed.
Chalk it off.
Away.
Find a way to chalk it off.
The cherry on the most rotten cake that any Sheffield fan has ever eaten in their life. Yeah, I felt for them. It was, it's brutal, and as I say, like I tend to look out for Sheffield United results because I have quite a bit of affection for them up there. But that was just, I was openly laughing at that point. I was like, this just can't get any worse. And also, the funniest thing was obviously so many fans had left, so it emptied out quite early.
Mm.
And as me and my mate were like, well, there's a better seats up there. We can just go sit there, can't we? Get a better view. So we went up there, and as we were walking out of our row, the Sheffield fans went to me like, "Oh, have you had enough, lads? You had enough?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I've had."
It's been awful.
This is too much for me. In fact, you know what? This is so bad. I'm going to go and get a better view of how bad it is. And then once we got up there, we were kind of like right in line of sight of the Villa fans, so we sort of all kept looking up at us. And a couple of Villa fans started pointing at me, giving me the double V fingers. Yeah, bastard, 5-0 and all, insulting me. And I was looking at them like, you've picked the inside man here, you fools. You're bullying the wrong guy.
I just had this image of you getting your phone out, Frankie, just getting out. Come on. I'm the Villa man. I'm the Villa man here. So it was.
That was it. I was like thinking, like, well, first of all, you picked the wrong person out of thousands of people. You picked the wrong guy. Secondly, have you never seen All Villa No Filler? Do you not know? Have you not seen this podcast?
They're not real fans, Frankie.
Although maybe they have seen the podcast and they're like, oh, there's that twat. What's he doing here? Giving him the boo.
That's far more likely. But no, it was brilliant, and what a way to sort of end our little blip of poor form and performances and results as well. It's been within the context of the season, which has obviously been brilliant. It's been a difficult kind of couple of games. So, we bounced back with a thumping win, and we've got some really big games coming up. Obviously, the replay against Chelsea. We've got Man United at home. I really want to win. I really want to win that one after we let that 2-goal slip against them at Old Trafford. That's the game I'm targeting really in the next couple of days, get a couple of games. So that's what I want to see. Leon Bailey starting this time as he probably should have done against Newcastle. I know there was some talk about
the whole thing was a Michelin star meal, and he was the souffle. He was just he was perfection. Douglas Luiz was the main course. He was Leon Bailey was just the beautiful dessert.
I think Douglas Luiz was the sizzling mixed grill. Placed before you, sizzling away, the smells, the flavors. He had it all. But you're right. I think Leon Bailey was the souffle.
Leon Bailey is genuinely one of the best football players in world football right now, and I'm not even exaggerating. He is unbelievably good in his current form. Every time he gets the ball, he can turn on the ball like just that, like as fast as he wants.
He did that little skip in the first half where he sort of like took it around a player. It was right by the byline. I don't know if it was on your side of the pitch, Frankie, but he took it. He did this lovely little move to get past him, and he was pulled back, and the Sheffield United player got a yellow card for it, but. The way he did that, I was like, okay, he's in the mood tonight.
The goal as well. He made the goal look so easy. But as soon as he got the ball, I knew if he gets to cut inside, he's going to place us in the top corner, and he did. It was the form he's in, and he's the player I think is key against United.
I think so. I would agree with you there. I think, all he needed was just that little bit of space, and that's what he was waiting for. So, when he came down at the Sheffield United penalty area, he sort of waited, that little cut inside and the left foot into the top corner. It was just a brilliant finish, great technique, and a man sort of banging form and with a huge amount of confidence at the moment. It was just sublime, Frankie, sublime.
The tasty dessert, he's special. He's special. Also, something I noticed that was really interesting. Do you remember the second half? It was 5-0 at the time, and it was a corner to Sheffield United, and they had Martinez made a double save.
Yes.
Austin McPhee went absolutely berserk, right? And he was proper screaming, looked like a really angry wizard. You know, someone's stolen his staff, and he's like, "Who took my staff, mate?" Um, when Gandalf finds out that Merry and Pippin have stolen the little Plantier thing
That's right.
that
Yeah.
Sauron can see them, and that's how it looked to me. And but Unai Emery walked up to him and started going like putting his like you could clear he was like clearly insinuating calm, 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 and then like sent him to the bench like a naughty boy. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that was like an interesting thing to see. And it just doesn't it suggest to you kind of that Emery's whole approach is not about like blood, thunder, guts, and screaming and whatever. It's about we stay calm.
Yeah.
We don't let passion overcome us. Controlled passion. The opposite of Romeo and Juliet, basically. It was just just an interesting thing to have witnessed. And also Moussa Diaby came
Yeah.
on the right wing, and he looked better on the right wing. I think he's doing well as a second striker, but in recent games he's been struggling with players right on his back with back to goal.
Mm.
Yesterday, when he went onto the right wing, he was able to run at players. He had space to get into. He looked more his regular self. I think that was a good sign.
Yeah, I agree. I think one name I haven't heard praised actually, although he had a relatively quiet game but did everything efficiently, was Clement Longley because
Yes.
to get a clean sheet for him was really, really important. He's come under a lot of stick as a player that's come in on loan. I don't know whether he or certainly Emery probably felt he would get as many games as he has done, but the situation has emerged, and he is playing week in, week out, and I do think that is benefiting him. I think just from the perspective of just confidence, fitness, understanding the way the team plays, understanding the players around him. He didn't do anything spectacular, but I think he was important in terms of doing what he needed to do to help Villa get that clean sheet. And I know people will say, well, it's only Sheffield United and they were pretty toothless, sure, but you can only play what's in front of you. And when it comes to the Premier League, they're difficult game. Every game is difficult, or perceived to be difficult. So you've just got to be on your game, and I think he really was today. And I think he just deserves a bit of credit because there's a lot of Villa fans that have sort of given him a bit of grief, me included. I would, over the last couple of weeks, but he was very solid. So congrats, Clement.
I concur. And do you know what I end this on? Do you know what my full stop is? Bastard. It's just ringing in my ears.
I guess you've heard that a lot in your life, haven't you, Frankie?
Yeah, quite a lot. Well, far more than you.